Joining us now is Adesua Sage with stories trending around the world. Hello, Adesua. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Abasi. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai.
Good morning.
Lovely to be back on the show, and it's time for What's Trending. And we're going to start our first story of the day, which features the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, whose interview on the morning show has the internet abuzz, particularly this clip featuring our very own Dr. Abati. Let's take a look.
I want you to identify those 6 states that we referred to in the introduction. Those 6 states where, you have the pilot programs. If we could just list them so that we can move on.
The 6 states are, yes, I will mention but few because I don't really know all of it. Niger,
you don't know
Abia,
the 6 states where you're having the program?
I don't know all of, no, listen to me, my dear brother, please. The 6 states now is not the issue to me. The issue to me is all the states. That is what I'm focusing on. I can't go and start focusing on the 6 states when the money coming can go around all the states, including FCT. And as I speak to you, I've moved on to start the Nigeria for Women project without the money being ready. And we've given to 15 states already. If you add the FCT that we gave the Keke na Pepe, it makes it 16 states. So we've gone past 6 states as I speak to you.
Well, that interview took place this Monday, the 24th, just 10 days after the Honorable Minister filed a suit in the High Court of Enugu State against Honorable Khafilat Ogbara and Arise News TV, asking for 1 billion naira for what she believes to be a defamation of character. In light of this interview, which was quoted in her filing, let's take a look. It's been reported that the Minister of Women Affairs, Honorable Mr. Uju Kennedy, is being investigated over an alleged 510 million naira procurement fraud. Now, I believe as the chairman of the House Committee on Women Affairs, you are involved in this investigation. I was asking if you'd be able to enlighten us more. It's been reported that there have been multiple petitions against her, both from her staff, the ministry, and from contractors.
Thank you very much for this question as well. I think the Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju Kennedy, is being investigated by the Public Procurement Committee already. We, as a Committee of Women Affairs and Social Development, supervising her ministry, we have also, done an invitation to invite her to the committee to listen to her. But because the Public Procurement is currently investigating her. She was supposed to appear on Thursday, but it was postponed till Tuesday. There are so many petitions against her, but because we have not heard our own side of the story, we have not done the investigation, we have not heard from her, we want to wait until we get to the bottom, of this before I'm able to talk about it in public. But I'm very sure, I am 100% optimistic that definitely if she's found wanting, we'll let Nigerians know.
Well, in my humble opinion, Honorable Khafilat Ogbara was acting in her duty as a legislator, which includes oversight of the executive arm of government. And I was asking about reports, which is my duty as a journalist. Now, freedom of press is vital for maintaining a healthy and functioning democracy. This suit is disappointing because freedom of press ensures that citizens are informed, that governments are held accountable, and that diverse voices are heard. It is absolutely a cornerstone of our democracy, which I believe is enshrined in Section 39(1) and 39(2) of the Nigerian Constitution. But I'll go to a senior lawyer. Over to you, Dr. Abati.
Absolutely correct. Section 22 of the Constitution states the responsibility of the media to hold government accountable and to act as a bridge between government and the people. Section 39, which you have quoted, deals with the freedom of expression and the right to the ownership of, channels of mass communication. I don't know who the advisor of, the media advisor of the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs is, but I think both our legal advisors and our media advisor may be misleading her. Because if you look at the content of your question and the response by Honorable Khafilat Ogbara, I did not see anything there that looks like any personal attack on her. Yeah. It's not as if there is any statement saying she has been indicted.
Yeah.
The honorable member of the House of Reps spoke within the context of the work of the committee that she belongs to, and they have oversight function. So I don't see what the issue is. And in any case, I think, you know, she also needs to be reminded. She's a lawyer, by the way, so she should know that defamation is not a thing you just weave like you want to go about intimidating people or frightening people around. The question that will be asked in court, yes, you are entitled to your reputation, but is it the truth? If it is the truth, truth is an absolute defense, okay? Is it fair? Is it a fair comment? That was not even a comment there. That was a report of the work of the committee. And the Honorable Ogbara stressed the responsibility of the lawmakers to defend our right to know, as the Nigerian people, our right to know. She said if we come up with anything, we will let the people of Nigeria know. That's also something, you know, that is decent. And then, of course, the Honorable Minister says she will go to court. Well, when she goes to court, they will ask her those questions. Is it the truth? Is it fair? And then Arise News will demonstrate that there is no malice. You know, once there is no malice involved, you know, then of course, the same Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, she was on this program on Monday, so she considers us an antagonist, and yet she still came to our platform, and she spoke for a very long time.
In fact, it was true on that Monday we knew that she's your sister.
Oh, she's my sister.
Because she kept on saying, my brother, my dear brother, my dear brother,
no,
my dear brother.
That's just by way of...
Do you want to deny her your sister?
No, that's just by way of speaking. It's not a biological thing. It's just
but your sister.
But in any case, I think that, look, the minister should realize that she also needs the media in doing her work. And in any case, public officials going about suing media houses and other, or antagonizing or intimidating people should know that there's something called volatile non-fit injuria. If you're a public official, there's a limit to which you can say, don't ask me questions.
Yes.
No, because if you don't like it, don't go near the kitchen. Exactly. I'm just being told that she's actually a sister to our producer from Anambra State.
Well, let's move
He's
on
just
to our next story.
Can I just say sorry that this story also highlights when we talk about investigations that there's still an investigation pending for the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. Let's not forget that, because this is part of accountability. If we're talking about transparent government, then they must be willing, especially if your hands are clean, to respond to calls from the House to answer questions, which Honorable Khafilat Ogbara said that she hasn't appeared before the House. One of the things she mentioned, they must be willing to submit themselves to interrogation.
100%. Now, on to our next story, which highlights the crucial oversight function of the legislative branch of government, as reports indicate that the State House spent 244,654,350 naira on the purchase and supply of tyres in a single day. Now, this expenditure is not at all surprising, as the 2024 appropriation bill allocated over 350 million naira for tyres, with an additional 6 billion naira for the purchase of new motor vehicles for the State House headquarters. Now, furthermore, 3 different offices under the federal government, the Office of the Chief of Staff to the President, the FCT Administration, and the State House Office of the Vice President, have received budgetary allocations exceeding 9 billion naira for the renovation or construction of residences for the Vice President. Now, as you can see, this includes residents in Dodan Barracks in Lagos, residents in Aso Villa, and the new resident that we recently saw being renovated and commenced by the shown off or by the Minister of the FCT. Now, this extensive spending, over 9 billion naira, for the residents of a single individual in a country where children are dying from malnutrition, in a country where workers are begging for a living wage. A minimum wage increasing 60,000 is no longer a living wage in a country where 60,000 cannot buy you a bag of rice. However, we have over 9 billion going to residences for the vice president, and we have over 6 billion going to purchase of new cars for the State House headquarters. In a single day, a sign-off of over 200 million naira to purchase tyres. Rufai.
Aliswa, it's shocking. You see, that 9 billion you were even talking about is minus the 21 billion. It was after that, after the renovation for Dodam Barracks and all of that. And you know, the shocking thing about the renovation is after they renovated Dodam Barracks, the president doesn't even stay there. Anytime he comes, he stays. He's our neighbor here. You know, it's just that during Salah, he didn't give us RAM. He's our neighbor here. He comes around. He stays body law here, but he didn't give us RAM. I will call him out here, President Tinubu, Babani. So after that, they had the temerity to go and spend 21 billion on the VP's residence. And you can see tyres, over 200 million in a day. And this is a country, the shocking part is where the tire industry has collapsed. Tire manufacturing collapsed totally. At some point, we used to have Dunlop, Michelin in this country. If those factories were working, if you had purchased from this industry, at least you will put that money back into the ecosystem. But we need to import. Most of the cars you are seeing there on the presidential fleet that they bought, are they Nigerian-made cars? That's also the conversation. So how do you grow the sector when all of this frivolous spending is happening? As these spendings are happening, I would have loved a case where you plow that money back into this economy. But it goes ahead to show the kind of country we're on. All of this minus the fact that very soon, monies also will be put in supplementary budget to buy 2 private jets for them. And when we keep talking about the fact, you know, now they're trying to skew the narrative about debt. That's a shocking thing. The question is, now they are saying, oh, it's because of currency differential that the debt increased up to 24.3 trillion. They are saying the real debt is about 7-point-something trillion. It was currency differentials that made it go up to 24-point-something trillion. The truth is, in the space from December to now, your debt increased by 4-point-something trillion. And we are not seeing what we are doing with the money. The people are being killed by inflation. You cannot agree a minimum wage. Now you've pushed it back to the states because the states don't want to pay. You're saying you're still talking about it. And at a time where independent evaluators are saying it will take over 104,000 naira to have decent wage for the people. You want to pay 62,000. Your people are feeding fat. You are buying more planes. You are having your best life. You are traveling as much as you can. You're having a good time. All your allowances are being paid. And the people are boiling. So the truth has to be said. Country no balance. The country is so poor because the leaders constantly make this country poor. And I'm not surprised. This kind of recklessness that is going on and this I don't care attitude. But guess what? The National Assembly will never reject it. They will pass everything freely. And that's how a country starts to deplete. But you see, the truth about the matter is that Nigerians are not even any better. Because when you raise this issue to Nigerians now, Nigerians will now divide across ethnic lines, tribal lines, religious lines, and say, no, when it was your own turn, when your region provided president, what did you do about it? Leave is our own turn. They will now remind you that they are standing on a mandate. They will remind you that you have no point to talk.
You know, I wanted to ask because, you know, after the national anthem, the first time it was sung, they did mention the fact that the 2024 supplementary budget was coming. Yes. Now, do you think that the National Assembly is doing enough oversight? And what do you think that this type of spending says about the priorities of the federal government?
Thank you very much. Spot on. And I'm glad that in light of what's happening in Kenya, we've been able to draw parallels with the Nigerian situation. In fact, if you hear what's happening in Kenya, you think you're reading about Nigeria, where the people are complaining about the fact that the government is saying that we have to tighten our belt, yet it doesn't reflect in the way that they are spending money to also build. What is it about building houses and residents and renovation? What is
There's even a helipad coming to Dodoma.
What is it about that? Again, I would say that it demonstrates the fact that the political class are out of touch with the sufferings of the people. It's either that or they are completely insensitive to the fact that Nigerians are suffering. So either they just don't understand the level of suffering or the fact that they understand it and they just don't, people will still survive. We are Nigerians who take. But there's something about pushing people to the wall. Yeah. After you push them to the wall, they'll turn back. And that's what happened in Kenya. And that's why we've said it a number of times as we've analyzed the Kenyan situation. Let us learn lessons. Must we get to that point until we begin to, dial back and say, okay, we'll stop this, we'll stop that? They should stop it now before we get a situation like that on our hands. It is provocative, and we need to, have fiscal discipline in Nigeria.
Definitely. Now let's go on to our next story, where Abia State University Teaching Hospital in Aba was temporarily shut down on Tuesday following a peaceful protest by the institution's medical and health workers who were demanding the release of their salary arrears. Now, on Tuesday, the Abia State government announced plans to pay the salaries owed to the state civil service workers in tranches. According to the Minister of Finance, Mr. Mike Akbara, the Commissioner of Finance there in Abia State, the current administration inherited a debt of 16.5 billion naira owed to the state's workers. Now, this is very topical because we just mentioned minimum wage, and we mentioned that the money... Yeah. Even the wages that were being paid before, even the minimum was not being paid by certain states. So, how do you feel, Ayo?
At 30,000 naira, the government, subnationals struggled. And that's why a number of them have come out and said, we cannot pay this 62,000 naira that you're proposing. But let's go back to the Abia example, where the governor has now said that in order to stimulate the economy, he drew parallels with the fact that if you want a vibrant economy, you have to pay the wages of the workers. Because if there's no disposable income to purchase or purchasing power for the people, then you would continue to have stunted growth in terms of the GDP of that state. So he's made a very wise move. And I think in terms of him being in touch with the people, again, that being just the fact that you're not just leading people, but you have to also recognize that these people are part of your government, and you need to recognize that the prosperity of the people is the prosperity of your state. Very important. But he said that because in order not to put a lot of pressure on the state coffers, we paid in tranches. I hope this is enough, it's able to assuage the pains of the workers in Abia State. But beyond this, Adeswa, we need to probe. What happened with the previous administration? He's no longer in government. Yes. He can undergo investigation. Definitely. Why were these salaries owed? The monies, the allocations that came from FARC, IGL, where did that money go to? Yeah. I'm sure every year Abia State made budgetary allocation for the wages of their workers. What happened there?
And received money from
so what happened? What about the bailouts from the previous from President Buhari for governors to pay workers? What happened with that? So beyond just saying that we're going to make amends, in order to stop this reign of impunity, we must also look back and investigate bad behavior. If not, it will continue to happen, and then successive governments will pay for what the previous administration has done.
Definitely. Dr. Abati?
Well, I mean, it's good that the state government now has made a promise. They have to keep to that promise. Because this is not new. They've been at it now for months. With the Labour Congress in Abia also protesting, with state government saying they will verify. But the main thing that the Commissioner for Finance has said is that, one, a worker deserves his wages, and they are going to pay in tranches after verification. We hope that process of verification is not going to be muddled up in a lot of hanky-panky. Two, we also hope that this is not going to create a situation whereby there will be unnecessary politicization, because the previous government could say, oh, we didn't leave a debt of over 6 billion. Or is 16 billion that they are talking about. Now, they should not focus on politics. They should focus on making sure that those workers are paid. Not just the health workers, even the workers in the tertiary institutions, Abia Poly, Abia University, all these institutions, they're saying that they've not been paid. And here, we're talking about a new national minimum wage. In fact, this amount that they are owing has already expired under the law. Yes. The last act on the minimum wage expired in April. Now we're in June. They've not even paid for that. 7 months' salaries being owed. So this is the part of the dilemma that the average Nigerian worker goes through. In some cases, overworked, underpaid, but generally exposed to a lot of abuse, providing, therefore, a justification for the constant protests by organized labor in Nigeria. We hope that it will be well with Abia, where many of the workers have been going about without salaries for the past 7 months. The government says there was some loan they were looking for from African Development Bank, which they inherited, and also from Islamic Development Bank. Well, I hope it's not that they would take loan and just use it to pay salaries. That would be further complicating the problem, because those loans, you still have to pay them back, no matter how low the interest rate may be.
Thank you, Dr. Abati. I honestly really appreciate, particularly you pointing out that sometimes politics comes before people when it comes to our political elite. And we're talking about people's lives, people's families and their livelihood and their security and their safety, their mental health. How can you work and not get paid? It's not good for your mind or your well-being. But let's go over to America for our last story of the day, where a video of former President Donald Trump stating that he was hot as a pistol before becoming the president has resurfaced on social media. He made this remark at a rally in the Bronx, New York, earlier this year. Recently, Trump has fallen behind President Joe Biden in the polls for the first time this campaign season, although most analysts believe that the race is still too close to call. Today, the two candidates will face off for the first presidential debate of the 2024 election cycle, marking their first direct confrontation in 4 years.
Sort of like a hot guy. I was hot as a pistol. I think I was hotter than I am now when I became president, okay? I don't know. I said to somebody, was I hotter before or hotter now? I don't know. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? Who the hell cares, right?
No, my question is for you, Ayo. Do you think President Trump was hot as a pistol?
That's a trap, and I plead the fifth. Well, I don't know if hotness is a criteria for being a great leader. Maybe. Let's take a look at certain leaders who have done well and see their hot factor to their performance factor as leaders. But that's not what's going to be on the table later on today when he faces off with Biden. A number of critical issues are going to be spoken about, including immigration, they talk about abortion, talk about even foreign policy will be on the table. And then the question around, will he be civil enough to have conversations? It's going to be a muted debate. It means that when one person is speaking, they'll mute the others so that even if he's talking, nothing would be heard. So hopefully we'd have a more civil engagement and really be able to listen to the ideas that these two men have. And America then can decide come November this year, later on this year, to decide who their president will be. Everyone is looking, I'm looking forward to the debates tonight. And I think guns will come blazing, but he should look good as well. Maybe he might get extra points for looking hot at tonight's debate.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to the debates?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the debate, but I'll stay up all night to watch it. I think it's about 1 a.m. tomorrow morning, Nigerian time. Speaking about hot, when I just saw Trump speaking, I just saw a lot of overt narcissism speaking. He's a narcissist. Call him what he is. It's always about him. It's about the Trump show. He has the best ratings ever. He gave CNN their ratings. Other people are fake news. He's the best thing ever to happen to America. Who else is talking? Joe Biden. Oh, Crookie Joe. Who the heck is he? So it's always about him.
Yes.
But at a time like this, I keep asking the question, do we need to continue and flame and give people like this capacity, at a very, very delicate time when leadership needs to be done? You might say everything about Joe Biden is old and all of that, but there's a difference between a clear head in the room and another narcissist, and which we saw what he did in his first time. Yes, some records to him. He did well with the economy and all of that, but it's Trump anyway. Everything is a trick show.
When the debate starts this evening, apart from the basic issues about economy, inflation, immigration, foreign affairs, the war in Gaza, Ukraine, and all of that, I hope Jake Tapper and Dana Bush, who are moderating the interview, we also ask him about that assault on the Capitol, in 2020. I think he will still need to explain to people. Definitely. The truth is, Donald Trump has never been hot. He can seek as much validation, always seeking validation all over the place, but he's never been hot.
I would have to agree with you,
and it's good that a group of economics have written a statement saying that, in fact, American economy will be worse off under him.
Oh, yeah.
I think global affairs will also be worse off under him if he's voted for in November. Thank you very much, Adesua.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abati. That brings us to the end of What's Trending today.